Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day to start things off. A top Federal Reserve official said on Wednesday that the US Central Bank is actively looking at and debating issuance of a digital currency amid growing worries among current and former regulators that the dollar might be at risk of losing its status as the world's reserve currency. Speaking at a local business event in Austin, Texas, Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas President Rob Kaplan said, and I do quote, "We are not at the Fed. We have at the Fed." Whoa. We have not, that's a weird sentence. We have not at the Fed decided to pursue or drive, who talks like that? To drive or develop a digital currency, but it's something we're actively looking at and debating, end quote. A former Goldman Sachs executive with the most extensive capital markets experience among members and alternatives on the Fed Key Monetary Policy Committee, Kaplan said the U.S. could suffer high interest costs if a foreign government or another entity developed an alternative currency that received widespread adoption. His comments came after the former Commodities Futures Trading Commission Chairman J. Christopher Giancarlo wrote in an open-ed piece that called for the U.S. to create a digital currency to avoid the risk that the dollar might lose its reserve status. Giancarlo now serves as an advisor to the Chamber of Digital Commerce, a trade group focused on blockchain and crypto policy. My assumption is that really weird that this has so much weight without actually even launching at this point. I assume a fraction of it definitely has to do with Libra. There was an article I was reading yesterday talking about the problems, and it's not even just anymore Libra. It's if other people decide to mimic Libra, i.e., the situation that we've had within the cryptocurrency space is that some company, some entity has tried to launch a Bitcoin ETF. One gets rejected and 3 other companies go, well, let's try instead. Those 3 try, they get rejected, 5 more appear, and it keeps going on and on and on. So regardless of if Libra makes it or not, it's the assumption that some other company on this planet will eventually launch their own digital token that will eventually receive mass adoption. The other side of this is, and let's see if this actually ends up taking place, sometime in November, the China Coin, whatever the actual official name might be, is supposed to be launched as well. And the news story that we had from before was that China Coin was trying to launch before Libra actually even had a chance to begin to think about launching. Them talking about that they're actively debating lets me already know myself that this is probably already in the works. The amount of other companies, and I know they're not a company per se, and depends on how you look at it, per se. Other companies who've been in the cryptocurrency space for about 4 or 5 years only let us know last year or this year that they've been in this space for 5 years. I assume that this is probably already in the works. They probably have a working prototype. It will not be blockchain based at all, or if it is, it will be so heavily centralized that it won't even be declared anything remotely decentralized or cryptocurrency like. The world is going to move to a digital plane world relatively soon. That's definitely a given. It's more like I don't really understand the reason of the maybe we will, maybe we won't kind of thing, because it's fairly certain if other countries already are talking about how much they love Libra, China Coin is going to be launching soon, especially when we had information that some of like the largest names in tech, especially within China and other countries, already planning on integrating that coin into their systems. And we also had the other news story, I'm pretty sure a lot of you remember this as well, from about 2 weeks ago, where one of the monetary officials in China said that the hope is that eventually the coin will be so widespread and across multiple apps that everyone around the world will have access to it with great ease. I'm pretty sure someone else besides just me within the US Fed also read that, and they were like, okay, that's going to be a problem. Give it by the time this year ends, or by next June. That's when Libra is expected to have launched in some sort of capacity, that we're going to hear about a US dollar coin. It kind of makes a lot of sense, especially if it coincides at all in any way over the next, 6, 7, 8 months until next June, give or take. If Bitcoin happens to have over $1 million or $1 trillion market cap, that would be the catalyst for a lot of heavy movement among lawmakers and financial experts. I don't even know what to call them anymore. Financial makers, people who control money, to start really trying to actively pursue something. If it takes them a long time, which I think it's going to, I wonder exactly how it will fare, because other countries have already expressed their interest in doing so, and they said that it's going to be happening relatively soon. But debating it is not going to really get you anywhere, especially with how quick the cryptocurrency space actually evolves. Next up, tying directly into this, the Bank of Canada believes a central bank digital currency could be the answer to the threat that cryptocurrencies present. The Canadian Central Bank is reportedly considering launching a proprietary digital currency. On the 16th of October, news outlet The Logic reported that the Bank of Canada is exploring the possible opportunities and challenges related to launching its own digital currency. The central bank purportedly believes that a public central bank digital currency, or a CBDC, could be the answer to the direct threat that cryptocurrencies apparently present. The document is titled Central Bank Money, the Next Generation. Wow, that's cheesy. Was reportedly prepared for the current governor of the Bank of Canada, Stephen Poloz, for a September 2018 board meeting, and was presented as part of a 2-year research project on whether or not the bank should launch its own central bank digital currency. On the 17th of October, an internal source at the Bank of Canada confirmed to Cointelegraph that the presentation did in fact happen. The author of the document, Stephen Murchison, wrote at the time, "We need to innovate to stay in the game. The central bank digital currency would have all the benefits of a central bank-backed asset and all the convenience and security of wireless electronic payments," end quote, without reading any further. Though you may not see it outside or see it in front of you as it is completely digital, we have entered a brand new space of competition, is the word I can only find off the top of my head. Years and years ago, the idea was that eventually in the future, this is around 2013, 2014, is that in the future, we would get to a point where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies had become so big that government leaders would start scrambling to figure out exactly the best way to counter it, to get around it. And if you have not noticed, the amount of people who've come forward the last, not even come forward, like there's nothing to really hide. It's more like the analyst that we've been talking about, that guy on Twitter, I think his name is Plan B, where he discusses the actual movements of Bitcoin in comparison to stocks and bonds, supply and demand, etc., etc. And he says he gives talks and he gives not lectures, but like he discusses things with other financial experts and other people who are rich and are thinking about getting into the cryptocurrency space, and just the stuff that we keep seeing around the world. One can only assume that if Plan B, that guy, is this active and his charts have thus far shown the trajectory that the cryptocurrency market and more so Bitcoin's price are going to take, that they're probably at least logically around 100, if not 150 plus other financial advisors around the world who are also doing the same amount of research and figuring out exactly how high or how strong, powerful, worth as much the cryptocurrencies that we currently have are going to be sometime in the near future. The fact that years ago, about a good 2 years ago, we started receiving documents and letters and PDFs and all this other stuff from governments, the IMF, the World Bank, et cetera, in this country and that country, talking about the actual strength of decentralized cryptocurrencies and how weak they were and how they're not a threat. They pose no threat at all to monetary policy. Maybe in a couple of years they'll cause some type of an issue, but at that point the world's markets will be so strong and robust that crypto then still won't pose a threat. This was about 2017 when all of that happened. So we went from a situation where no one spoke about crypto. People weren't daring to even mention crypto. It was blockchain, not Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies are not a threat. And now we've entered the period of cryptocurrencies are indeed a threat, and we have to figure out a way to keep up. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the second to last leg of the race. I can't find any other words right now. It's more like in a sequence of something going from nothing to being adopted. This is another step that has to take place. It's pretty much a recognition of the space saying that it may potentially pose a problem. It currently does not do so, but the very end of that, I would say even number 5 out of 6 steps in my head, comes at the very end of the number 5 is that these are a threat. They're worse than we thought. We spent a long time not really paying attention to them, and now we have to do something. And the last step of that, which we've seen hints of over the last couple of years, is the trying to dismantle as much of this system as humanly possible. Meaning, I think the final step, and I think this is going to cause probably the hugest shakeout of the cryptocurrency market. I assume it's going to happen sometime next year. If we're seeing governments now, especially governments before, who were not talking about issuing their own central bank digital currencies or anything digital at all, talking about, yeah, we're looking at it. This leads me to believe if they're afraid, think of it this way. If some of the strongest countries in the world are afraid of a social media platform coin, imagine if 15 other social media platforms all decide to launch their own coins at the exact same time. If they're afraid of that, imagine how afraid they'll be when Bitcoin's market cap ends up going over $1 trillion. It's all cumulative. And what we've seen, I think we've scratched maybe the surface of number 6 as far as like them trying to dismantle the entire thing. And that comes from the CFTC and the SEC the last couple of weeks going on a rampage and sending letters and trying to dismantle every other cryptocurrency project that could be, I don't want to say deemed a threat. Simply anything that they could simply say was or could be a security and therefore falls under their jurisdiction, and then fine them millions and millions of dollars. That's the last part that's going to come. And the reason why I say it's going to shake people out is because people already left the cryptocurrency market last year when we had discussions about regulation. The fact that we're getting regulations right now, it's not that scary because I think we've prepared ourselves enough. But when governments start talking about, especially in other countries, I'm pretty sure you've seen it already, locking up people, fining people, other things for holding cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, that's going to be the final shakeout before we realize, logically, that in a decentralized world, in a decentralized marketplace, on a decentralized system, no one controls it. Everyone has a fragment of it. And this will also, I hope, lead to the blossoming of a world where more people understand that they should be running nodes, running full nodes, running lightning nodes on their computers. I'm not going to name the names of any companies to give any like push towards anything, but I think it's going to be very important when people realize that there is strength in numbers and that we don't really have to worry about Bitcoin or other properly decentralized coins being dismantled, because you would have to shut off the entire internet or shut off the entire world's electric supply in order to be able to. Anyway, it's happening. It's going to happen. The fact that they're talking about that they're looking into it, or potentially the idea of something that could be good for them, you wouldn't release news like this or have news like this or have a discussion about this unless you've been talking about it for quite a long amount of time. I assume these things have been in the works for a while, and I assume there are test nets happening. But this is the way the world is going. Everything is digital. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on. I thought this one was actually quite funny because it's just my sentiment about everything. Changpeng Zhao, who is the CEO of Binance, said that the reasons why Binance Coin dropped over 50% from its all-time high in June do not make sense. Zhao explained that new services such as margin trading and increased number of fiat on-ramps, peer-to-peer trading, and futures trading have made the last quarter very productive, with many significant projects coming to fruition. Resultantly, the CEO isn't sure why Binance Coin's price has slumped over the past few months. Mentioning the drop in Bitcoin price along other possible reasons, he noted, and I do quote, "There are many possible reasons for it, although none of them make sense to me. Yes, there was a drop in the price of Bitcoin, our industry's index. There was some FUD on various things, per usual. Regardless of all that, I think in my biased view, our results outshine them all. Yet, the price of Binance Coin did decline. Markets often confuse people, even me sometimes. You might have noticed my confusion during the last 6 or 7 months. The prices of cryptocurrencies, there's no, I know I've said this about 48 other thousand times. There's no reason for the cryptocurrency market to be down. I can't imagine what could possibly be going through people's minds. I know if I go crazy sometimes, when I chat with my friends about the movements, air quotes, of the cryptocurrency market and how things aren't really rational, we have very long discussions, and it usually just leads to us being incredibly confused. More so, the reasoning being crypto in 2015, 16, and 17 was also a very odd place. But when the market got good news, there was always a reaction. The cryptocurrency market doesn't, rather, I'll put it to you this way. It was widely believed in 2017 that we maybe had around maybe a million or so people within the cryptocurrency space. Analysts have stated that the entirety of the cryptocurrency space maybe has between 50 to 75 million people on this planet into crypto. That's a huge jump. That's a huge dramatic jump of the amount of people who are now interested in the cryptocurrency space. If years ago we had any good news about any coin, the price would shoot up. And I mean good 20, 30, 40%. Not even joking. There were really weird days where Bitcoin would kind of just shoot up. The fact that we have even more people into Bitcoin now, the fact that there are less Bitcoin circulating around, the fact that Bitcoin, Binance Coin, XRP, Ether, many other coins, without naming every single one of them, have great news all the time and never really any bad news, and the prices kind of trend sideways. They go down. We get really good news. They go by around 3%. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I guess the point to be made is that if you're confused, I'm just as confused as you are. Everyone's kind of confused. Even a lot of leading analysts are coming forward and they're like, yeah, the market doesn't really make any sense. Like, it's heavily irrational, but it's still to the point that if you go from, let's say, 1 million people to even just 25 million people, one would assume that prices would have reacted accordingly, especially, and I guess even if we're more so just focusing on Binance Coin, this is not financial advice or me telling you to buy Binance Coin. The amount of stuff that they've done on the Binance platform to ensure that their coin is being used in mass for every single thing happening on the platform is insane. This is only like a fraction of the stuff that they actually have added to their platform, where you are not required, but I think you get a like a rebate or fee rebate or something like that when you're using Binance Coin. Especially, I think Binance Coin also being added to their decentralized exchanges. There's so much going on. So for prices of any coin to be going down, logically don't make a lot of sense. I'll get to that conversation towards the end of the video as to what people are saying is going on, tying directly into this. Binance has completed its 9th quarterly burn of Binance Coin. The event involved upwards of 2 million tokens worth around $36 million US. This number represents 20% of the company's quarterly profit. Considering that the burn served to eliminate Binance Coin from circulation, the question is whether or not the price will react. Binance has successfully completed its 9th coin burn. 2 million Binance Coin, blah, 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 surpassed, so and so, The point being, normally, any coin, any, A and Y, any coin that experiences a coin burn usually jumps in price. When we hear, imagine a situation where Bitcoin currently has 18 million coins circulating and someone's like, I'm going to burn 5 million of them. The price would go insane. This is, with this market, who knows? Binance has a thing, for those of you who don't know, where they're burning a certain millions of coins every quarter, so on and so forth. I think there's 129 million? Where is it? Somewhere around here. I think 128 million Binance Coin are currently circulating, and they said that they're going to continue burning them until they have exactly 100 million, and that will be the final number of Binance Coin that there will ever be. When you burn 2 million coin, when you burn $36 million worth of an asset, of a coin, of something, the price typically reacts. However, the cryptocurrency market, and it could be a number of reasons why, doesn't react. And I've spoken with other people before about this, and the discussion was when this and this happens, this should usually take place. And people have told me, well, maybe the market's, really tired. Maybe the market's fatigued. Maybe people just aren't into Binance Coin. Maybe people just aren't into Bitcoin. And I'm like, I think a lot of people tend to think of the cryptocurrency market in a them-centric fashion. Like the discussions that me and my friends have, that's our world of cryptocurrencies. The discussions you and your friends might have, that's also another world. We tend to, for some reason, discount or not really count in the hundreds of millions of other people even slamming it down. The 50 million other people who are into cryptocurrencies right now, that they are also going to react in certain ways. So a lot of the market, especially recently, hasn't been making a lot of sense. No matter what good news that we get, especially even if we're in some type of a trading range, even if news is great, and I mean really, really good, we'll break out of the trend, we'll go up or we'll go down depending on how ridiculous the market is feeling that day. But for some reason, the market keeps trending in a certain manner, which doesn't really make any sense. Because remember at the beginning of 2018 was a great year for news. It was incredible. Every day was wonderful. The only bad news that we had was countries talking about banning cryptocurrencies, and none of them ended up doing it. 2019, a lot of the companies in whoever was into the cryptocurrency space, they stopped giving exceptionally great news for around the first 2, 3, or 4 months. It was more like a very lull period. Things were happening, things were taking place. But the moment the prices started going back up and companies or anyone started giving really good news about partnerships and so and so and so, prices would always only move by around 3 to 4%, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. And even considering the movements of the stock market, like companies can have reports that they had 20 million, 25, 35 something million in profits, and the price will move good 7, 8, 9, 10% and continue trending up over the course of a couple weeks. Binance can announce that they burned 2 million coins and their profits have surpassed $1 billion, and the price goes down. We get news about all these updates and upgrades and partnerships and stuff like that for many other coins, and the price goes up. And there's not even more, and I'm so glad. Part of me is actually really glad that this is happening across the entire cryptocurrency space, and I'll explain why. Because for some reason, people within the cryptocurrency space, you can hate or like whatever coin you want or don't like, blah, 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 whatever. If this coin goes up by 3% and this coin goes down by 4%, the situation that we had in 2017 and 2018 is that everyone kept on thinking that someone else's coin was more terrible than their coin. So the fact that the entire cryptocurrency market is going down at the exact same time, I think is a very humbling period for a lot of people within the cryptocurrency space. I'm sure this is going to change. The moment there's one coin within the top 10 that ends up going up by around 30% while the other coins aren't, we're going to have these same discussions once again about people having to try and remain humble because your coin is going up even though other people's coins aren't. It's a long discussion. The market doesn't make any sense. I'm very glad that other people are also confused right now as well. I'm hoping that this time next year we have a very different market. I'm hoping that we end up in a situation where we can even look back at this and laugh and go, ha, 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 wow, what a terrible market. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. The only thing I think that will move the market is a huge rise in Bitcoin, a huge rise in something else that causes the rest of the market to also kind of follow it. And for us to have an actual bull run market, huge movement up, because the good news always just gets absorbed very rapidly by the market. Things go up by 2, 3, 4, 5%. And then within about 6 hours, the coins are back down. Not very logical at all. Next up, institutional crypto investment giant Grayscale has released its third quarter report for 2019, revealing a surge of Wall Street interest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Grayscale offers a series of trusts that allow institutions to gain exposure to Bitcoin and Ether, XRP, Bcash, Litecoin, Lumens, Zcash, and Zencash. The firm's latest report shows an exponential growth in Bitcoin and Ether that began early this year, they said. $250 million inflows mark the strongest demand for Grayscale's products since the inception. Inflows tripled quarter over quarter from 84 to 254 million despite recent declines in digital market asset prices. If you want to talk about confusion, imagine a world where we have price metrics. And if I can see this properly, this says 7th October 2018. Imagine a world where we know for certain that hundreds of millions of dollars have been pushed into grayscale, and yet the cryptocurrency prices don't really react. Imagine a world where we know that institutions are buying up Bitcoin, Ether Classic, Zcash, Ethereum, even Bcash, XRP, Litecoin, even Zencash and Lumens. And for some reason, prices just don't go up. It's a weird conundrum, isn't the word. It's like a what's going on with the market kind of thing. Because Grayscale is not the only company this large within the cryptocurrency space. Like I said previously, I think they now hold custody around 2% of all the Bitcoin in the world. That's not to even mention the other amounts of cryptocurrencies over here that they're also custodying. When we get news from Binance, from Gemini, from Coinbase, from Grayscale, from the other institutional places, custody things, yada, 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 that are also, they're in possession of 1 billion in crypto, 800 million, 3% of this coin, so and so and so. And even, is it just me? And maybe I'm missing something. Because normally, if you don't have facts about something, you can only kind of speculate. But the speculation gets washed away when you have actual numbers from companies who taxily, not a word, have to be transparent with the amount of money that they're actually holding. And if I'm not also mistaken, this says also weekly inflows. So this is per week. The amount of money that's flowing into Grayscale. Why are cryptocurrency prices so low? Why isn't the market reacting? Why aren't normal everyday people, also people who've been in the cryptocurrency space for a while, why is everyone waiting? I assure you, what's going to happen is when prices do start to go up and skyrocket and Bitcoin goes from wherever it is right now to 12,000 to 14,000, back down to 8,000 and back up to 16,000, people are going to be rushing to buy as much Bitcoin as humanly possible, but no one seems to be doing it while prices are low. We're getting this news all the time that institutions are heavily into cryptocurrencies, are into the Bitcoin, into the so-and-so, into the blah, blah, blah. But I have a feeling, don't tell people how much you have. Please never do that, especially not on the internet. Let me know in the comment section over the last, I want to say 3 months, as prices have been trending oddly sideways, if you have been buying crypto, and more so, how often you've been buying crypto. Has it been daily? Has it been weekly? Has it been every other week? Has it been once a month? Don't put any amounts. Don't put what I have 95 Bitcoin. Just put what coins you have and if you have been buying them and in what frequency. I'm constantly shocked. I have a lot of other friends who are really into the cryptocurrency space. And when I ask them if they've been buying, they kind of give me like a shrug and go, no, I'm waiting. And I go, what are you waiting for? Just waiting. I'm like, are you waiting for the prices to go up? Do you think that Bitcoin is at some point going to fall back down to 3,000? Like, what's the wait for? I kind of want to say, I know that there are definitely people out there who are without a doubt buying, but I wonder why prices don't react. And I have a very strong feeling that it has to do with that. The 95% of people who may not be millionaires and or billionaires just simply aren't buying because they're waiting for rich people to tell them when to buy. Very, very odd. My opinion, as always. To kind of finish things off, Ripple says MoneyGram CEO Alexander Holmes will highlight the impact of digital assets and blockchain technology at the company's upcoming Swell conference in Singapore. The two companies partnered in July, with Ripple buying $30 million worth of shares of MoneyGram. MoneyGram is implementing Ripple's on-demand liquidity solution, previously known as XRapid, which uses XRP to power cross-border payments. In a recent hearings call, Holmes talked about the company's early experience with XRP. He said, "I am so excited to announce today that MoneyGram is now live and transacting on the Ripple XRapid platform. We started executing trades earlier this week, and all signs point to this being a tremendously beneficial relationship for all parties involved. We are literally settling currencies in seconds, and to quote my friend Larry, this is really cool." Regardless of how you might feel about a coin, or even more so, honestly, XRP, the fact that MoneyGram is using, and it's not even that they're using just the other services, they're using XRP, and XRP's price hasn't gone up. Please don't have a conversation about Bankster Coin. Don't have a conversation about so-and-so. Don't have a conversation about there are too many coins. All that stuff's been washed away in 2017 and 2018. If you're still in 2015, I don't really know how to help you at this point. We are in a very active market. We are seeing cryptocurrencies adopted en masse. Did you think 4 years ago that one of the largest money remittance platforms on this planet, MoneyGram, everyone knows MoneyGram, everyone has walked by at least 300 MoneyGrams in their life, driven by one. You've seen the sign. They're officially using XRP, and the price of XRP is not moving. We know that there are institutions who are buying huge amounts of these coins, and none of them are reacting to any of the good news. Do you understand, in 2016 or 17, if we had wind that MoneyGram was going to be using XRP, the price would have skyrocketed. If we had news in 2017 that MoneyGram was using XRP, XRP would have become the #1 coin. If you doubt my saying so, at one point, many points, XRP was the #2 coin. And mathematically, actually, another discussion. The point being, it would have risen over $5, $6, $7 at the time when Bitcoin was low enough, and it would have become the #1 coin. We are in a very irrational market. It's difficult sometimes, I won't lie. It's difficult to keep your head down and kind of just pay attention to what's going on. But across the board, something very odd is taking place. The only thing I can simply once again say is that people must be pushing down the prices or deflecting. Is that a thing? Making people pay attention to other things that aren't really as important while they accumulate these coins. Don't be shocked at all the next 10 years if governments start coming forward and talking about how much they hold as far as a reserve, or as some type of a what's the word, like to I can't think of the word, buying Bitcoin as if it was gold. Don't be surprised at all if wherever you live, your government, whatever, announces that they hold this much Bitcoin, this much Ether, this much XRP, this much Litecoin, and we figure out that this entire time they were also buying up coins as well. I feel like something is definitely taking place because it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I can't even think of anything. I honestly can't. I'm at a loss of logic, at least right now. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Louise, Mechanic, Strange, Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas, One North, One Peace, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer, Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavoti, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, and Bodie McBoatface. Thank you all very, very much for your support at the moment. The market's in the red. Not completely in the red. Some coins are trying to move themselves up. However, Bitcoin is down once again. We have to. It's a must at this point. We have to be in some sort of trading range once again. The last 2 weeks, Bitcoin has not gone above 8,200. and has never gone below 7,900, or rather, I think it hit 78.96, somewhere around there. It seems we are in another really weird range. The interesting part is that the movements seem to be happening a lot quicker. I don't think that we're going to be in another June situation where it took from June, July, August to September for prices to finally start moving. It seems that the up and downs are a lot more frequent, at least over the last couple of days. You can even see right here, for some reason, Bitcoin fell down within the last 2 hours. Why did Bitcoin fall down within the last 2 hours? No one knows. Or maybe one person knows. Maybe a group of people know as to why this movement went down. There is nothing in the news that should be causing Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency right now to fall down. None of them. Binance Coin is currently down by 2.37%. EOS is down by 4.17%. Anything else really crazy out there? Nope, but everything is in the red. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. What was the other one? 0x was up about 15%. It's currently down by 9.37%. Huh. I feel like, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. It is very interesting. There are a couple of things that we're going to actually have to discuss towards the end of this month. There were a lot of calculations made as to where the market would be during this month. A couple of things have yet to come true. What's even weirder is the amount of analysts who are now kind of discussing that the market really isn't reacting the way that they thought it would, because something has to be happening. I know I keep saying it, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this as well. Like, when was the last time that we had like really bad detrimental news? Bitcoin hasn't slowed down. XRP is being adopted. Ethereum is going to be upgraded. There are multiple companies constantly building on top of Ether. Litecoin is usually in the news. Even the news that we get is in negative. It's like many partnerships. Shelly's coming soon for Cardano. I think Tron is still being adopted as a super gaming platform. We know that IBM is going to be using the Stellar Lumens blockchain. I think EOS 2.0 just came out. Like, there's only been good news. IOTA has like 45. That's weird. IOTA has so many partnerships with car companies. Its daily trading volume is $4 million US, and these partnerships have been confirmed. They're not even like we're in talks with them. Hopefully it works out. We know that they're working with at least 5 companies who have announced that they're going to be using their Tangle or their token for their cars and for charging the cars. Very, even Tezos is down to 11 million in trading volume. Well, I hope you all in some way enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. If you've made it this far, I hope my computer has made it this far. I've come to the decision I'm going to have to get a new computer really soon. It's still working fine. Like, my current computer is working fine, but apparently everything that I'm doing on it is far too intensive. So yeah, I was also thinking of starting a second channel, and I'm going to need a more powerful computer for that. So yeah, thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.